What's up guys, Bionic here, welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video, day 2 of Doom Tower. We're going to talk about that, obviously, not about Magma Dragon. We're going to talk about the Agreth, the Spider. I have one of the fastest teams for you guys to showcase, but I will quickly mention that I will be streaming on Twitch tonight in about 6 hours. We're going to have some gem giveaways, so make sure you tune in for that. So before I switch over to the other account, I want to quickly mention a thing or two about what I've noticed on the Magma Dragon floor 10, right? This guy is so easy right now that some of like the best teams that we've seen are nuking both of the waves with an ITHOS. That seems to be sort of like the way to go. ITHOS. All the top 10 players are basically nuking with ITHOS. That works. I've tried it with a Zargala. I can somewhat do the same, but I'm not tuned properly. So like I can nuke both of those waves if I would improve the gear on my Zargala. Shuffle things around, right? But you're not going to want to do that because at some point when we're going to encounter like the third version of this Magma Dragon, which is going to be considerably harder, you're not going to be able to one-shot those waves. So these so-called really fast teams that we see right now are just like temporary, right? At some point we're going to have to use something that's going to be able to nuke the waves regardless of how hard they are, and that is why I was working with this team right here. In my opinion, what I was trying to do is to somehow nuke the waves with a Seer, which I'm thinking will be pretty universal for basically all the bosses. For that, you're going to need your AoE decrease defense and weaken. You're also going to need some buffs. Between Lydia and Arbiter, that's typically enough. Then you also want to reset the skills, so you got a Prince Kymar or Renegade. That doesn't give you a lot left, right? It gives you like a Septimus, the hope that you can maybe nuke the boss. So that is what I've been trying a little bit, but it's not tuned. So it's not working properly. In fact, I'm also killing the waves too fast. Yeah, there's such a thing as killing too fast, like right there. Okay, I actually didn't kill them all. Then I get my Seer to go because I want to reset those kills with the Renegade. So if the Seer doesn't take a turn, then it's all screwed up, right? The rotation is wrong. So right there, we reset. The Septimus does take a turn or two. Right there, we didn't kill them all because we didn't reset properly. And then we waste our AoE decrease defense. So like, again, I'm not tuned for this. I'm not going to put more effort onto this stage. I don't think it's worth it. I think I'm going to wait until I get the harder versions of this, right? And then I keep dying all the time. Obviously, this would not work at higher levels because they would just, or the boss would just kill my Arbiter as well. I would not be able to revive, okay? So again, just kind of playing around, but what I've noticed, like I said, is the fact that the so-called teams that we see right now are not exactly scalable. All right, so I'm eager to see what the really good teams are going to be, what people are going to come up with to deal with the waves and then to deal with the boss. So then it's going to be really interesting, and we're only going to see that in a week or so, right, roughly, before we encounter the hardest version of this guy. Also, I think that right now the Frost Spider is at the top of the Doom Tower. At some point, I think this guy is going to be at the top of the Doom Tower. So imagine him being sort of like the hardest in the game, and we saw all the values with that spreadsheet, that Reddit post, right? And you can look up how tough like the last boss would be. So then imagine those stats on this guy. That's how hard he is going to be, right? So enemy max HP is still going to be your friend, but because you can't reduce the turn meter, it's going to be a tough fight. Right, it is going to be a very tough fight. So I'm curious to see just how far up the nuke teams are going to go before we start encountering the really solid, like sustainable teams that can pull it off. Anyway, all that being said, let's quickly go over to the other account and showcase a really fast Agreth team, which is Shankers. You might have heard of this player before. That is normal. It's because I showcased him on my own channel, but also Manibold Gaming showcased him, I believe, a little while ago as being like one of the low spender players that have made it into Platinum. He has the luxury of being able to get up at night on Sunday nights to pull it off, so kudos to him for getting that done. We'll look at his champions after the run, but first let's go over the team that he used for the Agreth the Spider sort of like speed run, right? So we do have the ITHOS in there, 2 Cold Hearts, Royal Guard, Dracomorph. I suppose Lydia could somewhat work in here as well. And if we look at the best teams, again, number 1, he's number 1 on his own clan, but number 2 is that I pretty much see ITHOS across the board again, except for perhaps down here, I believe we see somewhere a Array, all right? But that's what I said before. It is literally not going to work all the way into the end. At least I don't think it will. I don't think we'll be able to have an ITHOS strong enough to nuke the waves without any buffs or debuffs on for us to get to the final boss, especially once we reach the end of the Doom Tower, right? So let's go over this run real quick, and like I said, then we'll do the champions. And yes, I totally recorded on mute the first time, so I'm gonna go over my original recording. We put it on auto, we let ITHOS take care of the waves, nuke number 1, nuke number 2. Then when we get to the boss, we have to somewhat control it towards the end, because the Royal Guard will not do his skill, or at least not the right one, on time. We go for the A2 takedown, then we need a little bit more damage to finish it off. I get 18 seconds, his record was 12 seconds, so you can kind of see how this works. It's not perfect, but hey, it's a really, really fast time. All right, so all that being said, now let's go over the champions. Starting with his ITHOS, which has a couple broken pieces. We probably have, yeah, crit damage gloves, crit damage amulet. We have an attack banner. Total stats, we're looking at 4.9k attack, 230 speed, 100% crit rate, 256% crit damage. This is not easy to do. With this amount of speed to hit these stats, it is not easy. All the skills are done. As for the masteries, we have Helm Smasher, which makes a lot of sense. The next one would be Dracomorph. We have War Master, I assume probably was used against the clan boss at some point, maybe still is. All the skills are done. On this one, we have Relentless with crit damage gloves, a crit damage amulet. Total stats, we're looking at 4.2k attack, 220 speed, 100% crit rate, and 220% crit damage, but we do have more accuracy, I assume. Then we have an accuracy banner. Yeah, exactly. Then the next one is the Royal Guard, which has, okay, not completely maxed out gear. I suppose it's a work in progress, but total stats, we're looking at 3k attack, 100% crit rate, but 309% crit damage, which makes a little bit more sense because we're not stacking attack as much. But this is normal, it's enemy max HP, therefore you don't really need it. But he also has 220 accuracy, and this is with an accuracy banner. Crit damage gloves, crit damage amulet. All the skills are done. Masteries, we have flawless execution for the tier 6. Then we're gonna have the 2 cold hearts. Flawless execution, all the skills are done. Yep, most likely. We have 2 pieces of speed, crit damage gloves, crit damage amulet, and accuracy banner, which is pretty standard on any cold heart. 43k HP. Okay, not messing around with the HP. It's like 10k more than mine. I got some work to do. We have 200 speed, 70% crit rate, and 266% crit damage, as well as 230 accuracy. Perfect for the PvE content. Let's look at the second one. We have, I assume, crit damage gloves. Yup, crit damage amulet, and accuracy banner. And then what do we have here? We have 38k HP as well. This is pretty high, 172 speed, a little bit slower. 70% crit rate, but 314% crit damage. Man, okay. Also, just enough accuracy, 230 for all the PvE content in the game. Skills, and we have flawless execution on this one as well. He has even, oh, he has a second Royal Guard, so I was not looking at the right one? Okay, hold on, maybe I was not looking. What's up with this one then? Okay, well, I mean, I think I saw that he was using this one. Very similar, 3.5k attack, 170 speed, 100% crit rate, 270% crit damage, 175 accuracy, which is a little bit low-ish, but again, we're not bringing this guy in for the decreased defense, right? We only want this skill to hit as hard as possible. So maybe he was using this one, maybe he's going to use 2 at some point. I'm probably going to build 2 as well. I think it's going to become a little bit more useful, especially now that we're hitting the Doom Tower and we have these bosses. All right, the last thing I can show you guys is the Great Hall real quick so you can kind of see where he's at. He's doing pretty good. He is doing really, really good, well advanced, and maybe we can check the arena here real quick. Okay, not in Platinum yet, but take my word, or trust me, he has been Platinum and probably finishes in Platinum every week. He's a very dedicated man. So anyway, all that being said, let me know what you think in the comments below. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little showcase once again. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.